This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. She does amazing work as an interior designer and is always looking to have her finger on the pulse of the newest stuff, just in case you might be a client that you want something that's trending. She's currently in another state right now, and we're going to learn more about what goes on at this. I'm going to call it a convention for best of description here. And she's Trish Bonney back on the program with us. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again.
So you're from Denver, but you're in North Carolina for this event, right?
Yes, I'm at specifically High Point Market, North Carolina. This is where it is like the mecca for residential interior designers. Of course, you can come here if you're a commercial designer or hospitality as well, but it is more for residential designers.
My my analogy for the rest of us to understand this, it reminds me of like runway week at the, New York Fashion Show where, you're seeing latest designs that come out, they show them out and everything. Is it kind of like that for interior designers?
Absolutely. You will see fashion here as well. We're interior designers, so it is all about that too. But this is definitely the largest runway in the United States for designers. There are markets in Vegas, New York, Dallas, Georgia. So there's a lot of these, but this is the biggest one.
So with this event, you're seeing the latest and the greatest, but also I would imagine if you want to purchase, stuff, you can do that as well.
Yes. So I came here this year for a lot of reasons, but I have one particular client, for example, that I wanted to find artwork, and he wants, one of a kind artwork signed and whatnot. So it is not just new items. There is a whole area that is specific for antiques. Some people will specialize in mid-mod, some will be more Victorian. So it is a plethora of things, and you'll even find booths that are just artists. But I was able to pick up some artwork for that client and some antique perfume bottles. So you can really find almost anything here. There is something called cash and carry, or you can pre-order. But this is the greatest time for clients to put in their orders when designers are at market because we might have a special. Some places we're offering free shipping, which is huge right now. Shipping is really expensive.
Mm.
And this particular market happens in October and again in April.
You're seeing a lot. It's got almost like an overload. There's so much that, you can see and do. What has been maybe the biggest trend surprise that you've experienced so far being there? Anything that, oh, I didn't expect that, or, oh, there's more of that. Whoa, okay.
There's a lot of new lighting options that are, you're seeing a lot of different lighting. This isn't a huge surprise for me, but I am seeing that green is still really popular right now. All shades of different color greens, and you can see there's a green background. I'm in my the manufacturer plant for where I get my custom furniture. So they let me do this in here. But I would say the biggest thing I'm seeing is a lot of new light fixtures, which that can be hard. There's so many out there. So for them to come up with a lot of new designs is great. Another color trend that I'm seeing is kind of like a terracotta, also in various shades, really dark burnt orange or lighter pastels. Same with the greens, all different shades. But there's a lot of new furniture. But again, you can only get so different with furnishings. But the color trends are very evident with the greens and terracotta colors.
Hmm. The green, I've heard that it's been big for over a year now.
Yep.
And it looks like it's not going away anytime soon.
No. Oh, and Browns, a lot of deep chocolate browns. I know a lot of people don't like taupe and, beige, same kind of with gray, but really deep, rich chocolate browns are very evident right now too. Lots of velvet brown furniture.
Mm.
I'm seeing that everywhere.
It almost
Yeah.
seems as if we're more earthy. When we look at these greens, those browns, the colors, burnt orange, and all of that. Which interesting, you have a darker orange turtleneck
Yeah.
on. I don't know if that was intentional, but
Yeah.
um,
No, not really. But it's just we are not in the greatest time in our world today,
mhm,
in my opinion. And
agreed.
we're trying to surround ourselves with warmth, trying to bring that outdoors in. A lot of us aren't going outside, we're working from home. So I really feel in all the different shades of browns, it's a much warmer palette than it was for quite a while. Just because we want to surround ourselves with like a hug, basically. And again, those colors are very, very evident everywhere, even
Interesting.
in light shades. They're more amber instead of gray or charcoal or blue. So it's really nice, in my opinion.
It's interesting. 30 years ago, the green was like the sea foam. That was the thing back then. And then there was the Emerald Kelly greens kind of moved in there. I want to say like 15 years ago. I'm just going by memory and just kind of looking along the timeline there. How would you describe the greens that are popular now?
It's a more olive tone,
Okay.
different
Which
shades of
honestly,
them.
in your background right now, that is what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a little between olive and an emerald green. But yeah, that olive tone is you see it in lighter and darker shades. It's really a nice one.
So where this is going on there, High Point, North Carolina, correct?
Mhm.
Is this normally set up there? This
Yes.
big facility or whatever it is, and it's all about designers and all of that. It's just now there's a presentation, there's a show going on for designers.
No, it takes over a whole town. I have been coming here since 2017, and I've honestly never been able to touch every single showroom. There are huge multi-story buildings. There's some outlying buildings that might be one or two stories. There was even one showroom that is actually in somebody's house. She has all of her products set up on the first floor, and when it's not during market, they live in the entire house, but during market, they just live upstairs.
Wow.
So it's really it's probably, I would say, and I could be wrong here, but maybe a 10-mile radius. Um, so it's very huge. Again, you can find anything here.
Incredible. Um, is it in High Point? Because as I remember, that's like the furniture capital of the country in many ways.
Yeah, a lot of the manufacturers, there's not as many there used to be, but the ones that are still manufacturing in the United States, the majority of them are here in North Carolina. Um, and it used to be where they were predominantly here in High Point, but now they're kind of spreading out a little bit further. But there's some that are starting to actually, when COVID hit, a lot of them kind of dropped off, but now new ones are starting to take over the large buildings that were, you know, left empty for a minute.
Now, when we talk about the lighting trends, and you're saying there's a lot more going on there, I'm gonna have to imagine that the technology is also there with the lighting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot easier ways to make the different patterns and whatnot, but there's still like, and I'm trying to find more US made products for, various reasons, but one of them because of the tariffs.
Mm,
But there's a company in Vermont, Hubbardson Forge. Everything is made and created in Vermont still. They've been around for many, many years. But even their new offerings, they're just really cool. Like, you have a whole different generation that are designing these products now. So it's fun to see how, especially like lighting, how it's evolved from more really soft, traditional aspects to there was one in particular that I was looking at, kind of remind me of just the globe of the world. So what's going on in that person's head that's designing that? They're thinking about the world right now or something, it's what inspires them. Like there's one, I think it was called Tulip. So it's really nice to see how it's all evolving. But that is a great one if you're looking for American made.
Wow. Um, I recall going back, this is about 10 years ago, where I started getting into lighting. And I started buying Philips, and they had where you can dress it from an app and all of that. That was kind of it was just getting popular, but it was pretty expensive back then. And they were like the only game in town if you wanted, strip lighting and, different effects using an app or whatever. And then all of a sudden, 5 years later, bazillion other manufacturers pop up, and there's like the endless choices. You can change the color temperature. You can do this, and like
Mm.
it's amazing what's out there, and I'm gonna say like reasonably priced now that it's become more widespread. Are people asking for different types of lighting when you work with them?
Oh yeah, lighting has become extremely popular. Like they want to be more unique, but it's also they want all the technology that goes with lighting as well. Because lighting, now that people read more about it, they even understand the general public. A lot of them understand that it can affect, your emotions and how you do and feel throughout the day. So a lot of people are demanding a lot more high tech out of their light fixtures and individuality, because who wants to walk in your neighbor's house and you're like, oh, we got the same light fixture at Home Depot. So they want something really special. So it is nice where you can find places that there are some that offer, if I can dream it, they'll build it for me. So I can even create my own fixture if I want.
So now we're talking about color, we're talking about lighting. What about textures? And you mentioned like, I think it was like a velvet brown was popular now. What else is going on?
Yeah, for a long time, you saw a lot of what I call like a teddy bear fur. Um, but I see that one kind of dipping off. I am seeing a lot of velvet or velvet-like textures. Just anything that is super, super soft, everybody is drawn to.
Hmm.
Um, there is a brand that's called Krypton. Everybody seems to be really drawn to that too because what that is it's not nothing is impermeable or perfect, but it is one of the best ones where like any liquid will beat up on it and you can go get a paper towel, throw it on top of it, and the paper towel will just draw the liquid up and it doesn't stain. It's great for, if you have pets and they have accidents or children. Um, Again, yes, it's not the end all be all, but is one of the best ones. So Krypton is definitely coming out with a lot more fabrics because it used to be limited options. Now it's almost endless options, very soft, homey residential options. It used to be a long time ago. It was really for like hospitals, um, for obvious reasons, but now you can use it anywhere.
Trish, would you say that a lot of the commercial durability of fabrics is now becoming more mainstream for residential?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just because, again, when we went through a pandemic, that was a huge push. But even before that, they were pushing for more of that durability and ability to have easy cleaning products. Of course, there's always, I mean, those are great pros, but we also have to remember all of the reasons why it is so durable. Um, that is something I learned even more about recently, like all of the chemicals and everything that we put in those items. It, it may be something where people need to actually read more about it before they jump out and get it, because for some, it may be detrimental to their health. Um, but if you have a family that isn't affected by some of these chemicals, they're great. Indoor outdoor fabrics are basically becoming one. A lot of outdoor fabrics are just as soft as your typical indoor fabrics. So you can have that outdoor furniture that has the velvety feel just like your indoor. So
Wow.
they've come a really long way, but now we need to work on, can we make it the same way but with more natural um, additives so it's safer and healthier for us.
Ooh, there's a delicate blend, and we don't even think of that kind of thing where you're sitting on this, you're laying down on it, you're watching TV, but if it's made with lots of chemicals so that it's durable, hey, it's great, it's durable, but also you're ingesting or smelling, that stuff around. It's
Right.
delicate blend to get that done, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. We were so focused on sustainability and everything,
Mm,
but now we need to make sure it's sustainable but also healthy. So
yeah, and maybe affordable too. Add one more challenge to the to all of that.
I
Mm.
don't know how soon the affordability will come, but yeah, if we could have all in one, that'd be amazing.
You know, I learned my lesson uh, a few years ago when it comes to fabrics and furniture. So I sold a house, and that furniture was time for it to go, but it was a more premium fabric, and it lasted like 12, 15 years. Yeah, I had a little wear and this, that, and the other, but really, really good. So I changed location, sold that house. Where I am now, yeah, I was kind of in a rush. So, I got a couch and some furniture in there. I didn't even think about the fabric. Yeah, it'd be fine, whatever. My gosh, even minor wear, you see that it's wearing much faster than
Right.
it should. And then, side note, add two cats to it. I didn't even think about the the weave of the fabric, where if I was
Oh
more
yeah.
intentional, added some more money to it, would have been worth it. And now I have, a multi-thousand-dollar scratching post. I'm not even kidding. I'm sure there's fabrics out there where, they couldn't get claws in it that easy. This is, and even just, the other day, I was like, sat down, got up. I'm like, wait a minute, it just looks like it's wearing. Um, this is my point here is
Mhm.
this is why a designer can guide you through all that. And I said to her earlier, when we got together a couple of weeks ago, I'll never do it again without a designer. I'll never, like, for a number of reasons, not just that. But you know what's available, right? You've got it at your fingertips.
Yeah, it's 100%. And if you work with an experienced designer, those are questions we should ask you ahead of time. Do you have pets? What kind of pets do you have? Do you have children? How old are your children? Like, there's so many things. And a lot of times I'll ask, does anybody have any allergies? What are those allergies? Because if somebody's allergic to wool, that's in a lot of our products. And if you have cats, those are the hardest animals to work with because they like to claw and paw at things. So you don't want to get like area rugs that have loops. And you don't want to have a lot of textured fabrics. Do you have a new puppy, for example, because they will have accidents a lot. So in that case, wool is great because if you ever have seen a sheep in person, the water beads up on the sheep's fur, the wool, and it dribbles off. It's again not impermeable. Eventually the water will seep in, but if you run and grab a paper towel, you can blot it. So in like commercial spaces, if we did area rugs, there is PET right now, which is plastic, and you can hose it off. But if they want a really good rug that's going to last for a long time, which you do want in commercial because it gets a lot of um, traffic on it, but wool area rugs are the best for commercial. So amazing in residential as long as nobody has an allergy to it. But there is a lot to think about, even when you get a sofa. Um, there there has been a huge trend. Everybody wants white furniture. Well, jeans in particular, even the blue dye in jeans, even if they've been washed a few times, can rub off on certain kinds of fabrics. So you have to be very, very careful. There's some materials, there's one called viscose. It's beautiful. It looks like silk. It shimmers, especially like on area rugs. But I try to stay away from anything with viscose because you can spill water on it on some of them, and it can leave a stain from water.
Wow.
So again, if you work with an experienced designer, those are things we should know and be able to educate you on. If you don't want to listen to us, that's fine. But we educated you and told you our reason for selecting things that we have or showing things. But that's definitely a bonus of working with a designer, is the education that comes with them.
Absolutely. And it would drive me insane to know that my jeans are now imprinted
Yeah.
on that white fabric. Now what do you do?
Yeah.
Like I would,
There's hardly anything you can do at that point.
mm,
So,
I would hate myself. I really would. Like I'm like, why did I get this? Why did I buy it? I've even seen cars and leather seats of like a beige where somebody got in with, newer dark denim jeans and
yeah.
it's not coming. You
Yeah.
keep at it. It's not coming up. Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where what I'm getting here is not just the design aspect of you, it's the information aspect as well. And the two are so important. And having something that's durable, is going to last, is going to look beautiful and fit your family, fit your lifestyle, all of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on here than just, let me have somebody come in and they're going to change up the walls and change the furniture. There's more because if you make the investment, you want it to last as well.
Right. Well, and it's also things like, we have one client, the one that I got some artwork for, we're making custom bedding, we're doing all the furniture and everything. So I'm putting together a spec book for him to have at the end that's going to call out each of the fabrics. So he knows his bedding in particular, he will know if it has to be dry cleaned versus can it be thrown in a washer. And, we're going to put that all together so he has it in a little book, black and white. That should be another benefit that you get with working with somebody like us.
Mm. Thank you for all of today. I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
Live on location, you are. Um,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to work with you, even just pick your brain on some things, and the beauty of it is you can work with anybody, anywhere, because somebody could just send you pictures and video of what they got, their layout, and all of
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. How do we, Trish? What's the best way to reach out to you?
If you Google Tab Interior Designs, Colorado, you'll find our Instagram, our Facebook, our website, and our phone number is on there if you want to give a call, as well as our email.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for today
Yeah.
and sharing like the latest and the greatest, and have fun while you're there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Likewise, we'll catch up soon. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.